Hello! Welcome to episode
4?
4 of Onwards and Upwards. I've not finished editing the third episode because iMovie iMovie is out to kill me. Number one public enemy. iMovie. Too much.
Do you know who it is? It's your upstairs neighbours.
No, downstairs neighbours.
Downstairs
Neighbours are out to kill us.
If you see this,
we're coming for you. No, because this is crazy. I have to tell you the story now because apparently, do you remember when you came over to dinner? Oh, we're in my apartment. Braddon, number 11. I'm moving out of here in 4 days. I love it here. My roommate slays fuck. Julia slays fuck. Okay, story time. So, you and Hamish and Abbey came over for dinner, like literally like the first week that we moved in.
Yeah.
My outfit is so bad. Wait. Okay, pause. I need to put on like a cool shirt at least.
I went to a boxing class yesterday morning and it was so hard that I threw up at the end. I threw up. So I've been in a lot of physical pain today. Yeah, but it was worth it. Like, I feel good. Because I don't exercise a lot, so I've just like recently started like exercising just to see what's up because people seem to like it. And I kind of get it now because you kind of feel bad, but also good. Also, my goal this year is to have an ass. Like, I would like an ass. A dear Santa. So I've just been like, manifesting.
For Christmas, can I please have
an
an
biggest,
ass?
juiciest ass?
Let me be
yeah.
thick. Let me be
I
thick.
need it. I need it so bad. It's actually like all I think about now. And also my uni work, I have to think about that. But when I'm not thinking about that, I'm thinking about how can I make my ass bigger? Is that a snake?
It is a snake. This was decor for our
caveman
sexy
rave.
caveman party. Yes, it was lots of fun. So there was a volcano in the corner over there with like like
lava.
There was lava.
Lava.
There was lava and little dinosaurs.
Oh my God. So
and
cute.
snake and bugs.
And
there's
snake.
like a spider somewhere. I think it's on the table actually.
Oh yeah.
So
story time.
Back to story. Everyone was here for dinner. It was like 5 of us, and we were listening to music and we were having lots of fun. And then apparently the next day, Hamish got a message that was like, "Hey, I think I live like underneath your friends because I heard you guys come over and like I heard you guys talking and everything." And I was like, "Oh my God, like who? What's her name?" And he was like, and I was like, "Oh, I followed name bleep." I followed on Instagram.
Wait,
yes.
Okay, do you know who this is? I do know who this is.
Oh, this is exciting.
I don't know her well, but like I know who it is. I know who it is.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, like I wish I like, but the fact that this person is aware of our social circle is really interesting. And anyway, one day, one of Julia's like slave co-workers was over here, and he like, and there was like the window open, and he heard them, and they were slurring downstairs. And so then we decided that we don't like it. Oh my goodness. Okie So Julie and I were like having dinner one day and we were like, oh, I have her Instagram, like let's stalk it. Let's go through her Instagram because fun. Duh.
Yeah, I love
and we heard bad things downstairs, so we were like, time to stalk. We get it open, and
Maybe she was saying like, I love flags.
that's exactly what she was saying. Of course.
She's really passionate about
She's very
flags.
passionate about flags.
Maybe she has like a speech impediment or something. Maybe.
And so we like go through a fucking Instagram, and we're like scrolling through, and there's just a photo of Julia. There's just a photo of Julia out with this person. Like she's taken like a photo of like the dance floor and been like, wow, so cool. And it's literally just like this photo of Julia like dancing.
What?
Julia's just in the image. No, it's fucking hilarious. We were like, oh my god, this person just has a photo of Julia on their Instagram.
That's funny as.
It's actually crazy. But now they're public enemy number 1 because Julia's tire was flat this morning.
Uh-oh.
It was them. And we throw parties, which probably keeps them awake, but they should be grateful for our music taste.
For sure.
Like, you ain't gonna be hearing Heartbeat by Childish Gambino anywhere else but this living room.
That's right.
This living room.
That's right.
House every weekend. This living room. Faded. This living room.
In here.
In this very room.
In this
Mitski.
very room.
This very room.
Hell yeah, brother.
This very room. This very one.
That's so funny. She just had the window open and she was she with other people?
Yeah, there were like 2 other people downstairs. They were like having
a by herself and she's like
yeah, they're just like
opens the window and she was like
opens the window and she's there like blah 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 blah.
She just wanted to say them so bad.
It's like when you're a kid and you're like left in the car for the first time by yourself and you're like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I was such a strong memory of me swearing for the first time. I was like in the car and my mum was in Yarramla going to that phenomenal kebab shop. And was getting like the fam kebabs, and I was like sitting in the car, and it was a red car, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, and I was like,
now's
fuck.
My time.
I was like, fuck. And then I was like, the window's open.
Oh my god.
And I had to like roll up the window.
Oh my
and then I said it again. And then when my mum got back in the car, I was like embarrassed. I was like silent the whole way home.
I feel like you've done something.
Like I've done something so bad.
Oh my god. I don't know. I feel
Crazy.
like swearing comes so naturally to me now. I actually don't think I swear that much though.
I definitely swear way too much, and I think it's.
I feel like I say like what the fuck a lot.
But yeah, that's just I think our generation generally swearing is so normalized, and like that's okay. Like as long as you're not using it to like kill people or
kill people,
slurring.
Yeah.
Slurring downstairs.
I would like to take this opportunity to give you guys a health update. So, as I was mentioning before, I have started doing fitness. I've started doing Pilates. I did a bungee class. I started bouldering. I did a boxing class yesterday.
Yeah.
But for the past 8 weeks, I've had a cough. And I found out that I have asthma as well. So now I have not 1 but 2 asthma puffers. They're different colors. So
exciting.
Very exciting. I'm getting a chest x-ray today. I did some blood tests. So they're going to try and figure out what's going on. So if I die, it was probably that.
This is actually the last podcast episode, everyone. It's the last podcast
because I'm going to die.
This is not going to happen. Anna's not going to die. She will live long, healthy life, and we'll go to many more boxing class.
Actually, if I die, it's because one of those boxing classes has actually killed me.
I like out one there and you're just like heaving so hard that you're like
dysregulated at the end. I just like was so confused. I didn't remember like which way I had to turn to leave. You know when you leave the cinema and you're like, oh, you're just like so disoriented and you're just like, where the fuck am I? It was like that. And then when I was like getting down the stairs and getting into my car, I was just like, I felt like a deflated balloon or something. I was like, is this how it feels? Is this how it feels to die? Probably. I'm going to say probably. So if you want to ever feel like you're on the verge of death,
boxing class.
Try a boxing class having done very little exercise beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard. But Pilates, like reformer Pilates, I never thought I'd be a reformer Pilates or even a Pilates person, just because exercise is hard and I don't like doing stuff that's hard because I'm lazy. But I actually really, really, really like it. Like I really like reformer Pilates.
Yeah.
I haven't tried mat Pilates yet, but I feel like that's harder than reformer.
Mat Pilates is like very fun. I was a very big gym person. I was at the gym like 6 days a week, and I was buff. I was buff for a while. I truly was a buff woman for about like 7-8 months. Damn. I was strong. I was really strong. And then I stopped for some reason. I don't know. I was just like, oh, I'm happy with how my body looks now. I'll just stop. That's not how it works. And so I am back to being just so little and tiny and petite and just like I just float with the wind.
I just want a big ass.
Like a brush, the wind comes and blows through and I go.
Exercise is very daunting, I think, because I don't know like what you're supposed to do. That's why I've been going to classes, because if you just put me in a gym, I wouldn't know what to do.
No, same. And also everyone's like, as well.
If you want, like when you go on like TikTok or YouTube, they're like, okay, if you want to have like abs or if you want to have a big juicy butt, you have to also like eat all of this different stuff and you have to take these supplements and blah blah blah. But then I'm always like, are they trying to sell me something, or are they actually telling me like the truth, or is this some like random person who like has no qualifications, who just like has a platform because they're hot and they have TikTok and
those are the people that convince me. Those are the people I go, oh.
I'm like, makes sense. Yep, I'll start doing that now.
Okay, cool. I'm on it.
But yeah, so I don't know. And
even you could look like me.
I'm also like aware that
Rusty.
I'm also aware that like obviously diet's a big like portion of like if you're doing like exercise and that kind of thing, you then also have to back it up with like healthy diet. You have to be like
so much
I guess like giving your body the right stuff to work with to like make muscle and like do all that stuff. And my diet is like not very consistent because I'm always just like, I don't know, it's so hard. I don't know what to eat. I just want to eat stuff that tastes what was that?
Sorry, we had to take a minor break. Apple out to get me. Apple public enemy number one.
I wouldn't be surprised if your downstairs neighbor worked at the Apple store.
That is very funny. I'm like saying this, and the door is just wide open.
And like, she just lives down there.
Yeah, like they could so hear me right now. But whatever. So, number one topic of discussion today.
Oh yeah, baby.
So it's a very complicated subject and very controversial for very, very, very many reasons. So I've always had, pretty much my whole life, I've had a very like strict opinion on and my brain is like bad, but should we use a different word for
I don't know, because
we'll just go porn. Okay. Adult films.
Adult films.
Yeah, adult films. Well, that's what we called them revenge films.
Adult films. Well, these are different adult
These ones are
sexy adult film. I don't know.
let's just say adult films. Like
Adult
they get the
videos.
gist.
Adult videos.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Apple's like, we're here.
I'm listening.
I'm listening. I hear you right now. I hear you right now. So adult films, I've always had a very like strict opinion, just very like, no. And then I realized that porn is something that will never go away. Porn will always be here, and porn will be here forever. And there's no point just being in denial of it because, like not the everybody watches porn, but like porn is fucking everywhere, and people do access it.
A demand for it as well.
Exactly,
so that's why
there's always a demand.
That's why like
for
people keep making it, but it's also like obviously like when people enter like that industry to work, like that's real work, and there's real labor that's put into that because
it is
like
sex work.
Yeah,
it is sex
and
work.
It's like so valid, but it's also like an industry that is really there's a lot of like capacity for people to be taken advantage of and to be exploited. And I think also for a long time a lot of people were kind of like glamorizing like working in that industry.
Absolutely.
And so people were going in with really like skewed expectations of what that industry was actually like for people working in that industry, because obviously on the one hand you have people who are like super duper rich and like people will pay like $300 for a jar that they've farted in.
It's insane.
On that hand it's like great because this person is obviously like I guess like
comfortable with what they're
living the life, they're having a great time, and they're not doing anything that's outside of their comfort zone. Like they have a lot of control over the content that they're creating, the content that they're putting out. And like as long as they're like happy with it, they're doing stuff that's like within their boundaries, that's great because they're creating a product that people are wanting to buy. And it's also just like,
and it's benefiting them in their own way.
It's benefiting them.
Like this is nothing, like as you were saying, it's nothing out of their comfort zone. It's nothing taboo to them. It is not making them uncomfortable. It is not
as long as they're
damaging
happy,
their self-esteem or their body image.
happy with doing it, then
exactly,
it's good. And it's also like not like physically or psychologically damaging them in any way. But then on the flip side, you have people who are kind of like doing the same or similar stuff, but it's stuff that they don't want to be doing. It's stuff that they feel that they have to do because...
And people who are in this industry not by
choice,
by default.
By like circumstance where they're like, I've exhausted every other option and this is the only like viable option that I have left.
Yeah.
And obviously like nobody should ever be forced to do things that they don't want to do because that's bad. That's bad.
And unfortunately we live in a world where most of people are forced
by like
into
a lot of the time
that's
by like their like financial positions, economic positions, where they're like, okay, I could either be working. I feel like this is especially in America, but obviously in other places as well, where like most really low income people are working like multiple jobs trying to stay afloat. And even like in Australia, like most of my friends who are in my age group work multiple jobs or have worked multiple jobs in the past to just like survive basically. And when like you're giving young people, especially like young women, the option to be like, well, here's this like really easy job that you could do, because everyone says like, oh, it's so easy to like post on OnlyFans and blah 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 blah, and like maybe it's easy compared to other stuff, but if you've never done it before, like you just don't know that. Like I don't know, like fucking editing videos is hard,
girl.
It's really hard.
iMovie, #1 public enemy.
And it's also like you have to put a lot of time and effort into those things, and when people really care about the content that they're creating, obviously they're going to put a lot of time and effort into it.
And you're putting your mental health on the line as well with it, you know,
because
it is something really, that's super vulnerable and takes a lot of,
and you're turning yourself into a commodity as well. I think a lot of people, well, from like what I've heard from people who have worked not just through like OnlyFans, but like other kind of, what's the word? Other kind of
Platforms.
or like just like other types of work within
The sex industry. Yeah.
Like people who work at like brothels and like strip
Yeah.
clubs and that kind of thing. It just like changes the way that you think about your body, because like women are already like we're kind of like
heavily.
I feel like women are always told like, oh, people will only find you attractive, and like there's stats to back this up. People will only find you attractive when you're like 18 to 24. Once you go beyond that, you're like,
you lose your spark.
And like there's also the whole thing where like a lot of men will argue that, oh, like even though I'm 55, I'm attracted to women who are like 18 or like 20, like really, really young, because they're more fertile. Like, I have a biological drive, but also I feel like if you took that at face value, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense, because like as you age, obviously like it's harder to have babies, it's harder to get pregnant, like fair enough, but also like it's the same for men though. Like a 55-year-old man isn't going to have as much or as viable sperm as a 20-year-old man. So then why isn't that trend reflected? Like, why does like biology skip over one gender? Guys, it's actually misogyny. Like, I'm so sorry. But it's actually like it's not your biological urge to like make a baby or whatever.
With an 18-year-old.
It's actually you just want to have sex with an 18-year-old, like because they're young. Of
their vulnerability, and because they realize that you're somebody in power.
And I think that's been a trend like historically for a long time.
Absolutely.
In the West, like where, or like in cultures where monogamy is like upheld and really prized, and where like getting married is kind of like the standard. Obviously, like it's not as much now. Like a lot of younger people just aren't getting married because one, it's too expensive, and two, it's like the divorce rate is like very high.
And naturally, like women and men have come to realize, and theys have come to realize, that marriage comes from a place of general misogyny, but it comes from a place of Christianity. And
yeah, I mean, marriage originally was like before the church had even gotten involved. It was literally just like,
you're right, yeah.
If you're a father and you have a daughter,
you were giving away your name.
It's literally just like selling your daughter. It's like the transference of ownership from the father to the new husband, and that's like usually because these two families want to make some kind of partnership.
No, come say hi. Guys, this is Julia. Hello. This is Julia. Anyway, back to the origin of marriage.
So originally it was like just a transaction between like two families, or it was like a way for, I guess, two families to be like, we now have like a partnership. It's some kind of transfer of money, wealth or of some kind of commodity. And in this case, the daughter or the woman is like that commodity. Later on, the church got involved, and they were like, you know, marriage is like a sanctimonious thing. It happens like between a man and a woman. But even then, a lot of the time, it was like these two families, like the father wants to make a partnership with this family, so
for status as well.
Yeah, and obviously, like even in like the 60s, right? A lot of women weren't allowed to. Well, women weren't allowed to open their own bank accounts or checking accounts.
Yeah,
and obviously, like the 60s, like that's kind of far away, but it's also like that was that like our grandmas? They weren't allowed to open their own
my dad
accounts.
was born in 1966.
Yeah, so it actually like it wasn't that it wasn't that
it was
far
around
away.
The corner.
And they weren't allowed to, like, women just didn't have financial freedom, and so kind of the ways in which they were able to like survive financially was just
getting
to, like,
a
marry.
Good husband, big, strong, wealthy husband.
And so I feel like that's maybe where the trend of like young women marrying older men became a thing, because like older men knew that they had like power over these women, like financially, but also I guess through like status, that kind of
Yeah.
thing as well.
Yeah.
And then women had kind of accepted that, like, okay, to live, I need to marry someone who is like quite well off if I want to, like, if you're coming
Live
from like
a
a
content
middle
life.
class background, if you want to maintain that, you have to kind of like marry into it if you're a woman.
Yep. And then there were the scandalous lovers, the forbidden lovers, the poor marrying the poor, and they run away together.
So true. And then, yeah, I feel like way after the church got involved and like way after it was just kind of seen as a purely transactional thing, people started seeing marriage as like, oh, I'm getting married to this person because I
Want to
love
be
them
part
and I'm
of them
attracted to them.
and want to be
And
part of
yeah,
their name as well.
and so it was kind of more like marriage on equal footing, I guess. It was like less transactional. Not saying that like transactional marriages have to be like, there has to be that like power imbalance, or it has to always be like a man taking advantage of a woman, because like you could both be getting something out of that relationship.
Yeah. Like, I think we're just getting, like, talking about origin base and how that origin has kind of filtered its way out. Like, now
And
legally,
now it's like very,
you
very
don't
commercial.
have to take your partner's last name in any way. And obviously, there are many types of gay marriage, etc.
And a lot of people will stay like, I guess, I don't, wait. when you
People
get
just
married,
consider it tying the knot.
yeah,
People
it's
just,
more
it's like, oh,
it's
we
more
love each
like,
other so much that we're literally
yeah,
just going to financially and legally just
like tie the knot.
confirm it.
It's, I think for a lot of people
A
it's more
grand
like
gesture of being like
I
will give
love you
everything
and
to
blah
you
blah blah.
legally now
But
as
marriage
well.
rates are actually going down a lot.
Oh yeah, I know, it's so interesting.
Marriage
This
rates
is what,
and then divorce rates
Yeah.
are also going down, but I think it's also because less people are getting married. So in
Absolutely.
Australia, it's around 41%, I think.
yeah,
41
yeah,
or 44%.
Yeah.
Of marriages like end in divorce, and then those statistics change based on like how long a couple has been together. But also, interestingly, if a couple has lived together before they got married,
2 years, up to 2 years prior.
if it's like your second or third marriage, it's way more likely to end in divorce. Like if it's your third marriage, it's something like 70-something% likely to end in divorce,
which is fucking crazy.
like at that point, just give up. You're not meant for marriage.
do
like
it.
stop.
But yeah, what I found so interesting, we listened to a podcast recently that had a lot to do with marriage and love statistics and dating statistics.
And it was really good.
It was really good. What's the name of it? It's called
Pick Me Up, I'm Scared.
Yeah, Pick Me Up, I'm Scared. Really cool. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very impressive, and also really like engaging to listen to. But they were talking about statistics of the likelihood of people staying together if they move in before marriage or after marriage, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And personally, I have an odd take on that as well. I think love is a whole story. It's a big tale. Personally, I think the meaning of life is love, platonic, romantically, objectively, everything.
And also just like, I guess, companionship. Even like,
yeah, no, exactly.
I
like
feel
platonic,
like it's really important to have like
expression of emotion and the receiving of emotion.
And one of the things that they were talking about in the podcast is that like we are like essentially like very social animals, and that's been a big part of like our evolution. Is one of the things that allowed us to survive over like other species was the fact that we were very collaborative and like very like very like much working together to do stuff and to create stuff, because I guess you're just like, it's easier to survive if you're in a group. There's like safety in numbers, that kind of thing. But it's also like people who are married tend to have better health outcomes than people who are single and live alone, which also I guess makes sense because like financially now,
yes,
living
absolutely.
by yourself,
and
like,
yeah, humans rely on I don't know if you've seen the Sims like dashboard, but you need a social. You need your social bar up, man.
Yeah, no,
it's there for a reason. It's there for a reason.
And, like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like the way that we live now, I know it's not the same in like all places, but specifically in Western societies, like in Australia and America, that kind of thing, we're all like very focused on like individual growth, and you can see that kind of reflected in like our approach to medicine and our approach to psychology, where it's like very much about like the individual and the effects of internal and external things on the individual.
Yeah.
Whereas like other cultures are like have a much more like collectivist mindset, and they also just like tend to take like I guess like a more holistic approach to like medicine and psychology as well.
Yeah.
So interesting, but I feel like also there are just kind of like a lot of different things that go into the way people like enter relationships and the way people behave in like especially romantic relationships.
Yeah.
And it's very complicated and nuanced, but I myself think I'm actually a genius because because I'm aware of all of these things. I'm aware of all of these different factors and their interactions, their very complex interactions. And I'm also insane and very prone to neuroticism. I don't know what I'm saying now.
Generally, we're on the topic of Okay, well,
Wait,
actually,
we need to go back to
porn.
Yeah.
Sorry, porn.
Sorry,
adult films. Adult films. But yeah, one thing I found really interesting about that podcast episode was her talking about whether like living together before or after marriage, and I think that's really interesting because my take on love is if it ain't interesting, it's boring and it sucks. Why is it there? And you know, people are always like, oh, just tell someone you love them. No, make it interesting. As long as that's the end goal, yes. Like make it fun, make things move on their own. Like in a small, like on a much smaller scale, people love those little things that first get your endorphins and pheromones and your dopamine like allow it to kick off. You know, that tiny little moment when both people realize that they're both interested in each other, and it changes everything.
It's like a stress response though.
It's crazy, and it's just so emotional and so exciting and so scary at the same time. And that's what's so great about being human, is we feel so many things.
But like being in love and like falling in love with people, the stuff that we associate with that, like having tummy butterflies and having like sweaty palms and like dilated pupils and that kind of thing, it's also like very comparable to being like high on speed. I don't know if you guys have ever done speed before, but
girl, it's crazy.
Guys, you gotta try it. You gotta try it. No, I'm just joking. Don't.
Guys, get on that shit. You don't need to be in love.
So fucking good. Just do uppers instead, honestly. But like it's actually because being in love and being around people that you have a crush on is a very like similar experience, like physiologically, to the experience of being on speed or being high, because like it's kind of causing an increase in activity in the same centers in your brain, like your like what are they called, like it's like the ventral tegmental something blah 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 blah, but like your reward pathways and like your reward expectation pathways. And then in the same sense, getting dumped by someone really suddenly, you just have a sudden drop off in those chemicals in your brain.
It's like the coke plummet. Like you take coke.
Withdrawal. I can't say that word.
Withdrawal.
I'm having so much trouble with words today. I couldn't even say statistics.
Girl. It's okay, girl. You're dying. We let it go.
It's okay, I'm dying.
But it's like it's a whole coke timeline. You take the coke, you drop low, and you've always got that low, and then you get higher. The higher you get, the lower the drop.
Yeah.
And it's
emotional turmoil. I feel like from the way that you're describing it, I feel like you really love like the
I love like my scales, man. I love the roller coaster. I am a bipolar woman and I love to feel emotions. She loves
the roller coaster. I, on the other hand, I like that roller coaster makes me sick. It makes me sick because I remember like I've had kind of like romantic like relationships in the past. I'm not gonna name names because I don't want to give you more stuff to bleep out. But basically like for me, like that like uncertainty and that like, oh, like will it happen, won't it happen kind of thing, having that like dangled in front of me, that kind of like, it wasn't him playing hard to get, but it was him kind of like stringing me along, probably because he was like lonely and actually did want like companionship and that kind of thing, but he didn't want to like commit to being in a relationship, but he wanted to have all of the things that you get from a relationship, like
Have your cake and eat it
having like
too.
an exclusive like sexual relationship, having someone to hang out with all the time, and also having someone to like tell all of like I guess like your trauma to and that kind of
Yeah,
thing, because he also told me that very, very early on,
it's a
which should
stress
have been
relief.
a red flag, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Hindsight's 2020. But that made me like physically unwell. I was so stressed. And when like in the podcast she was talking about how like having really, really high cortisol levels kind of like moves blood away from your digestive tract,
Mm.
and it stops you from eating. And I remember for like a month at the very end of when I was seeing this person, I was having such a hard time eating. And I normally have like a very regular appetite. A bitch loves to eat. And I had like never been that stressed before in my life, because it was like that also with like other things going on in my life that were very, very stressful, like school and that kind of thing, where normally I would have been pretty good at kind of like managing those stress levels. But with that on top of it, it was just like too much for my poor little body. I started shutting down. I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna.
I think when I'm talking about roller coaster, I'm talking about when you're initially realizing you like someone romantically. I think there's a very big difference between manipulation and actual like intention to get to know someone.
That's
So
true. Do
I
you like the
like,
hard, like kind of hard to get, like? Ooh,
it's fun when you
yeah.
dapple.
Ooh.
You have your moment. So I really love romance genres in regards to books, because you can do, and I mean anything can be considered romance. This is why like everyone is like, oh, it's romance, like as long as there's love involved then it's considered romance. And then there's good romance. There's normal people, and then there's alone with you in the ether. Like normal people is so incredibly good at capturing that moment when you realize somebody is interested in you. And that's why I'm like adore that book so much, because there's this whole invisible string theory, which I like don't think is real, but like it captures that essence of being drawn back to someone and being like, are they still interested in me? And then some little incident happens and it just clicks. And that excitement is so beautiful and so strong, and it makes everything worth it. And then blow it up into the big scale, going back to marriage, you are spending so much time with this person. This person is constantly committed to you, helping you emotionally, physically, like ticking all of the boxes that you want in your everyday life, as well as your big emotional up and downs. There's someone there that's able to help you, and you're finding someone that's compatible enough to um, correlate their emotions with yours. So nothing clashes, and clashes do happen, and this is why arguments are important. As long as aggression is not involved. Arguments are extremely important in relationships. As long as you ain't arguing every day,
Oh yeah,
like,
that is not good.
pause. Don't argue because you think it's good. Argue when you're standing up for
Yeah,
yourself.
argue when you're like setting a boundary, or when you're like bringing up something that has upset you, or something
If
like
you
that.
need to even turn it into an argument.
Yeah, but I also
Yeah.
feel like it's important to, especially for me, probably not for other people who are just like more like balanced and like in touch with like their emotions and what they mean and that kind of thing. It takes me a long time to kind of like figure out like I'll be like, I'm upset and I feel really dysregulated and I need to figure out what it is. It takes me a really long time to kind of like be like, I need to understand like what is up, like what is the root cause of like what
Yeah.
is upsetting
Yeah.
me. I
And
feel
when a
like it's,
relationship
yeah.
is involved,
Mm.
that adds a whole different layer to all of that, trying to
Because
hunt
like
down what is wrong without offending this
yeah,
person that's
this
with you as
person
well.
that's with you all the time, I feel like sometimes it's easy to jump to the conclusion that like, oh, I'm upset because of something this person has done,
Yeah. Yep.
and I need to
Uh-huh.
immediately take out this like horrible feeling that I'm having on this person, when actually like you might just, maybe you just didn't have enough water today. or
Maybe you didn't sleep well.
Yeah, or
bad dream.
It could be just like
It's okay.
you're upset about something else, and instead of like looking inwards and being like, okay, let me exhaust all other kind of reasons that I could be upset, you kind of immediately like jump to this conclusion that it's somehow the other person's fault, or like your unhappiness is somehow this other person's fault, when actually maybe it might not be the other person's fault. So
just
I feel
remember that some things explain things, but they don't excuse things.
So true. But yeah, I feel like it's just important to like know yourself well enough before you have a relationship with someone, especially if you're gonna like live with that person.
Like these steps are crazy. You're constantly putting your vulnerability on the line.
Also, people are annoying as shit. Like no one is exempt from that. People are annoying as shit. People are very hard to live with, and living with people is sometimes going to be not like the easiest thing, because they're going to do stuff that's going to piss you off, but it's not necessarily going to be something like harmful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that you need to, like, I guess finding someone who you're compatible with is like, you're never going to find someone who's like completely perfect and they do everything that you want them to do.
Real.
And that also isn't necessarily like the best thing for you either. Because I feel like
you need someone to challenge you. Like, you grow from things that intimidate you and things that hurt you.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think that like sometimes you'll just be like doing stuff and you'll think it's normal, and then when you live with someone, they'll be like,
huh? What?
There's like a better way to do this. You know what I mean? And then you'll be like, oh, okay.
You learn, you grow from people. People come from different backgrounds. People come from different environments. And yeah, like, I mean, basis of it all, like, you love someone for the interesting things that they do and the things that they bring to your life. Personally, the way I go about my friendships and my love interests is I will only like really dedicate time and love and want to form a relationship with someone if I can learn from them. Like, what is the point in having someone around if they're just there to satisfy you? Like, I just don't. Like, you want to be with someone to get to know them, and you want them to also impact you. This is like, you know, the I'll fix him theory. Like, that kind of savior complex is so fucking damaging to the other person and you, because you're only there. You're coming into a situation like, I am more powerful than you. I understand emotions more than you, and I'm going to portray my opinion onto you and act like it is the answer and can resolve all of your problems. It is so toxic and so bad. Like, my goodness, I'm going to check the battery on my phone.
Oh yeah, true. Also, I need to pee really badly.
Okay. We're back. Julia, introduce yourself.
I'm Julia.
Tell us more.
Right now, I'm feeling really tired because some dumb slut just stole my iron tablets
from downstairs.
I think I honestly misplaced them, but I'm obsessed with the idea of like someone coming in here and taking my iron tablets, and like I love secretly feuding with my neighbors, even though they don't even know or care who I am.
Nice.
We've been talking about
marriage.
We've been talking about marriage.
Have you seen that video?
And we jumped on for like maybe 2 minutes.
What video are you talking about? The video of what's her name? Elizabeth, the actor, Elizabeth something, and she's like in a wheelchair, and this interviewer is like, "Would you ever get married again?" And she's like, "Marriage." And then she's like, "I'm gonna start howling. Awoo!" Have you seen that?
No, I have not seen this.
Elizabeth who?
It's like Elizabeth
Taylor?
Yes!
Oh,
Taylor! Yes!
That's crazy.
I was like, she's really, really famous, and I just can't remember her last name.
Yeah, no, so fair. Julia and I recently did something so incredible called The Renegade. we took many a video, and I actually thought I was gonna throw up from laughing. It was atrocious. It was
Finn, like,
atrocious.
the way that Finn moves her body. So we were doing the Renegade, and we were dressed in like fur.
I
The
saw
fur.
that.
Yeah.
Everyone came to a party and left fur here, so we have like so
Fur
much
pile?
fucking fur.
And I think I just love internet dances as well. Like we were doing juju on that beat in the car park. We had a little dance off downstairs.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Like what stuff do you do?
Hidden
Like,
the
oh,
war.
And there was like hitting the
Hidden
whoa. Wake up in the morning and I dab. Do you know that dance?
No, I don't. Can you show me?
I'm really embarrassed.
Dance on the
Don't be
podcast.
embarrassed.
We'll put the music over the top and we'll get like demonetized and everything.
No, I'll just sing it.
Because
I'll go
it's
like,
copyright.
Wake up in the
wait, sing it to me, and then I'll sing it back to you.
Wake up in the morning that I dab. I had to pull up around the block because the day I have to whip. And you know I talk drop and my car name is Nene. Had to hit the quan.
I don't know what any of this stuff means. I don't know what it means.
That's
Lee
crazy.
Keeps sending me videos, and they're like AI generated voices of like people in like what's that TV Breaking Bad, and it's like Walter White being like, we need to call the Sigma, and like I've been looks maxing or something like that, and he's like laughing so hard, and I'm just like, what is
Girl,
this?
what you doing?
I just don't know what all the words mean, but now I actually do know some of them. Looks maxing, I think is just like looking hot or something like that, or
That's
like
wild. Yeah.
looking
Why are we
good.
breaking down words that are already so obvious? Like, why are
Well,
we doing this to
I would have
ourselves?
no idea. Looks maxing.
Yeah, I mean, then you think about it, and it makes sense because it's like looks
You're maxing out your look.
maxing, yeah. But then like other stuff like the Sigma, I think that's like someone who's like really, I don't know. Someone please, I need someone to explain it to me.
You know what Julia and I did last night? Oh, okay, so before I went out to go meet up with Tortom, love Tortom, love him,
And he
you,
recently
Tortom.
graduated from university.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
Tortom. Love you. So last night before we went out, we decided to whip out Julia's laptop because I was showing her the video of Trisha Paytas when she's like in the tavern and she's like, "Hello, Trapla. Hello, Trapla. It's seen you around these parts." And she's like, "I'm a fairy, you know, I am, yeah."
We don't show off the fairies. We only show off the werewolves
And the leprechauns.
leprechauns.
Leprechauns, I say, would ya? Yeah. Like, she's actually fucking wild. But just being, and would I? At the end of every sentence, like, fucking crazy. Like, oh, it ain't no werewolves around this part. Oh, hello, traveler. Hello, traveler. Like, it's so fucking funny. And so we went onto YouTube because we were like, I want a longer version than a 3-minute version. We went onto YouTube and found a video of like, what was the title?
Oh my god, it was like ASMR.
Trisha Paytas talks you to
Trish the
sleep.
fish.
Trish like fish. Trish like fish talks you to sleep at the tavern, fairy tavern. And you like go in, and we were like, I was like, okay, like I need a glass of wine if we're gonna watch this.
Yeah.
And we started watching it, and she's like up at the mic, like, "Hello, traveler, how you doing, traveler? Oh, you like this potion, do you? Would I, let me pour you a glass?" And it's got to be some kink thing because she's like way up at the camera. And, you know, she's like ASMR and then she like whips out this like bag of coins and it's like like into the microphone. And it's so
She's
crazy.
mixing potions, but she doesn't have anything real in the bowl. So she's just using her mouth to make
And
the sound effects.
But
of,
the
like...
sounds are crazy, but it's literally her being like, like it's
Literally.
like it's gotta be a kink thing. Like you literally, and there's a part where she like gags us like with the thing, and she's like, "Tell me you're a traveler." Like it's actually fucking crazy. You don't remember me, do you? Literally so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then she like when she goes up to the camera, she like looks you up and down. She goes like,
So obviously we turned it into a drinking game.
Every time Trish, like a fish, looks you up and down, you must take a swig of your orange wine. Given to me by Fraser. Love you, Fraser. Shout out Fraser. Shout out Miss Pangea.
I had some of the sash in my room.
Really? Oh my
It's
god,
under
that's
my
so
bed.
funny. And so we turned it into a drinking game, and then there's one point where she like filled up like a mug of like red wine. She's like, this will make you feel good, chocolate. Try some of this one. And she like fills up this mug with red wine and goes, and it like glugs out. And then she like hands it to you, and she's like, sip up. And she like holds it at the camera, and then she goes. And we were actually like, we were laughing so hard, and then I was like, okay, wouldn't it be funny if we like filmed a video of me like holding my wine up to the wine bottle when she's like emptying it? And so Julia whips out her camera with the flash, and I like hold my wine up to her while she's like pouring the wine in the mug, and I'm like pissing myself because this is so funny, obviously. And then I like laugh so hard when she stops at my hand jiggles, and then my wine goes all over Julia's fucking laptop. Like, this is like a moment of panic, and in the video you could just hear the wine go onto the laptop.
I think you were doing like a wine twirl.
Like I was
and then it
just
just,
like
completely,
laughing.
like goes out onto my laptop. It didn't go on the important parts.
But it was very scary, but also we didn't do anything. We just froze because we were
So
laughing
funny.
so hard. And so we ended up like cleaning Julie's laptop, and then we swapped it to like my laptop, and we kept going. Duh. But I drank like this whole glass of wine, and then we watched Cody and Noel like bake off.
Yeah.
Shit.
Have you seen like the
So
Italian
fun.
Buck like TikToks where he
I
does like
love
the
him so much. Other people getting birthed, and then me getting birthed.
What's that?
Italian Buck is so good. I have to show you. It's like this
Or, like,
very,
where
very
he's got
attractive
the
man.
old guy filter on, and he's like, oh, there's one where he's like, spent the night in prison. Oh no, spent the night in jail, and then he's talking about why he spent the night in jail, and then this lady comes to like, this female police officer comes to like be like, okay, you're getting let out, and she's like, you're being discharged, and he says, oh, discharge where?
But this guy is like this very gorgeous, like
And,
really attractive guy, and he's
dropped
just
out of university and he was studying like physics or something
he's really fucking smart.
because he
It's
took off on
crazy.
TikTok.
And he
Oh.
literally is so popular on TikTok, and he just makes these hilarious fucking videos where he's like, I think he started off making videos of pretending to be a kid. Like he'd
Oh
be
yeah, where
like
it's like
me
when
asking
you're
my
getting
cousin
tickled,
to slip,
when you're
and
getting
he's
tickled,
like,
and then you realize that you're actually
dying,
about to die.
and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm
like,
getting tickled, and then stop me, I'm gonna die. And so they're just stupid topics. We were watching Nara Smith baby names on TikTok
my
yesterday.
God.
Oh, he's such a funny
And
fucker.
just like the way that he says stuff is just so like, it's so accurate, like the voice that he uses, and
Yeah, I
like
just
just
have to
like the
show you.
words that
It's so
he.
funny.
It's funny.
He's so hilarious.
But it's also like old man. He's scary. He scares me.
He's scary. What's that one TikTok audio that's like out of jail? Oh, it's like, darling, guess who's back from jail? And she's
It's
use
like
this
the-
audio if you're in
in
an
the
Uber.
And then it's like, I hope your Uber driver isn't like the last one.
I saw one of those for like, we'll play this when you're like about to go to climbing, when you're going to Blockhouse or something with a creep. And it's like, he's like, hello darling, are you going to go climbing?
Wait, I think I've seen this one. It's the Swedish guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because
That
like,
sounds
he used to like
hilarious.
make videos where he would pretend to like, he would go to like bouldering classes and pretend that he didn't know how to boulder, and then he would just be like, actually I'm really good at bouldering, and like climb to the top really fast, and everyone would be like,
Going.
but he would like wear like prosthetics and like fake hair and stuff like that to like stop people from recognizing him. But I'm like, who are
What?
you? I'm
What
sorry.
the fuck? That's
Like-
crazy. What do you mean prosthetics?
Like he would just like wear like a fake mustache or something.
Oh, holy
And be like,
fuck.
actually, it's me, like climbing, super great at climbing guy.
And
famous
all of them
man."
go,
Actually,
he's here!
it's
Actually, it's me here from Sweden.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hey. I was actually talking about really like adorable accents the other day because I was having drinks with Tom, and every time he says no, I'm obsessed with it. Every time he does it, I'm like,
Oh my
oh
god.
my god.
It's like this guy that I work with at the
Swiss
theater. When he
accent.
picks up the phone, he goes, hiya.
I love
Literally,
hiya.
I love
He's like-
hiya as
he's like-
well.
He's British, and I always make him say funny things in his voice every time I see him, because I don't see him that much anymore. I go, say Fanny, and he goes, Fanny.
No, because I remember the first time we went to go meet Amy's friends in the UK. They're from Wales. And I remember him sending Amy a voice message when we were on the train over to meet him, and it was the most fucking crazy accent. She like looked at both of us and she was like, get ready. And she pressed play, and I was like, oh my fucking
Can
god,
you
we're
do
gonna
it?
live
Can
with
you
these
do the
people for a
accent?
week. No, it is not. I could not possibly even attempt it. It was the most Welsh fucking, like, it was actually crazy. Like,
Unintelligible Welsh.
crazy.
Have you seen? There's this lady on TikTok who, I don't know where she's from, but she has like, I can't understand her accent. She's talking English. I can't understand her accent. And like, not even TikTok subtitles can understand what she's saying.
Is it like Wellington? Like,
I have no idea. She's from some like random island somewhere, like a really tiny
okay.
island, and she like makes marshmallows
Oh my
from
god.
like
Whoa.
scratch. And
Whoa,
she's like doing
whoa,
like a little
marshmallow from
voiceover
scratch.
where she's talking about the marshmallows, and I can't do the accent. Like, I don't know how to do it. I just like can't do it. But like the words that she's saying, and I look at the subtitles and I'm like, that is not how that word sounds. That's not anywhere near like, look at the letters.
Yeah.
Spell it out phonetically. That's not how it sounds. What?
Man.
She makes marshmallows. I think that's a gigantic waste of time. I think there's no way that you can like possibly, if you're making marshmallows, there's no way you're gonna finish all of that. And I have another thought. They just need to say, do you guys ever worry about the muscle at the bottom of your foot and whether you're
Yes.
strengthening it enough?
Yes.
What?
Because you know
Should I
that
be
can
worried?
tear. That can tear.
Like,
And it's like one of the most painful things that can happen to you, and it like damages your foot forever. It's like crazy.
so what do you
Yeah.
have to do?
I think if we just like, you either get orthopedics or you go barefoot, or you just ignore it and like.
What about my
everyone else.
Birkenstocks? Because I wear like Birkenstocks and hiking shoes. Surely I'm in
You're
the
fine.
clear. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just people that
Thank
don't know how to
God.
strengthen it. Really,
It's
like
people wearing
sometimes,
Converse. People wearing Converse.
Oh yeah, flat.
Like
foot.
flat shoes.
like heels. When you wear heels, you can really feel that tendon.
Damn.
Yeah,
like, up
oh
there.
my
It's
God.
crazy.
I'm
and
glad
you
I'm
can
a big
hurt
bitch
it.
because I can't wear heels because I tower over people, and it's very scary.
No, but tall, hot, sexy people are the best.
That's true, but it's also just like I have very poor hand-eye coordination. I bump into things a lot. If I was any taller than I was, I think I would probably die.
I think I would just drop dead.
I used to wear like platforms at college.
Damn.
I don't know.
It's- no, it's the best thing
why am I wearing
ever.
that shit to school?
And I'm a short
I used to wear
person.
like false eyelashes every day and like full face of makeup, and I would like show up to school and just be like,
No, but it's the best, and that's what's so exciting when you're young. Make yourself crazy pretty.
Yeah, and it's more just like how do you do that in the morning? Like I can't do shit in the morning now.
no, like I
No,
don't like I get up for
neither.
work and I just like go to work. Like
I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
started
need it.
recording. I actually looked at Anna. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm on camera. I need to get out of my pajamas."
yeah.
I just like ran in and just put this shirt on.
Have you put this part in your mouth?
Probably before. Okay, now she has.
What if you go?
I think that would maybe break someone's ears. Back to Nara Smith. So
Yes,
I
her
love
children's
her
names.
right
videos.
now.
What are her
she's
babies
her
called?
baby. So there's one
I'll tell you.
Slim Easy.
Yeah.
What's
Slim
their
Easy
last
Smith.
name?
Billy
Slim
Bobby.
Easy Smith. And then there's
Rumble.
Rumble Honey Smith
Whimsy.
and Whimsy Blue Smith.
Something
Oh,
like
Lucky
that.
Blue Smith? Oh, or am I
No,
thinking-
Lucky is her
Lucky is-
husband.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm
My
thinking-
husband doesn't like roast chicken, so I decided to make him something else.
I hate the taste of water.
It just doesn't really nice. So I
the
like
taste
to
of
put some
water.
lemon in my water, and this is how I make my lemon water.
Damn. It's like, I love
First
seeing
off,
those
I
like
get 2 cups
videos.
of water.
Have you seen that video? And it's like those like time lapse videos of people like digging, like
Oh my god, Cormac's calling me.
making like houses in the middle of the
Are you
Amazon
here? Are you here?
rainforest, and it's like Nara
Are
Smith
you
and her
here?
kids
Hello,
say they
hello,
want to
can
go
you
to
hear
the
me?
pool, and it's like, oh, it's so funny, but it's like so relaxing watching her videos.
camera. Alrighty, turn round. This is
Glorious.
Cormac.
Hello.
Say hello. And this is Frank.
Hello.
Sweet. Bye. Okay, do you want some tea?
I'd love a cup of tea.
Okay, let's take a break.
These